Dispatch to all units. This is a third alarm. Switch to the TAC channel.
You got water.
Real quick, guys, before we get going on this episode, this one I'm bringing fire to you. We're going to talk about lateral transfers and the good, bad, and the ugly when it comes to that, why we're doing lateral transfers, and, the importance it brings to the fire department, but what it really takes to make a successful lateral transfer system happen within your department is what we discussed on this. Every single one of you, I need you to go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. We have a shitload of you listening on audio, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify. There's, I think 60, 70,000 of y'all at this point that's listening on audio. I need you all to go subscribe on YouTube. We're sitting at several hundred, and I really want that YouTube side to grow, especially since I've invested in doing all of this camera equipment and everything that I need to get set up to do this. So I know you guys love listening on audio, especially when you're headed to the station and stuff like that, but go subscribe to us on YouTube so I can get that those subscriber numbers up. Y'all continue to share the shit out of this show. I cannot thank you enough for the amount of growth that we've had over the last month. I'll talk more about this in the episode and actually throw y'all some numbers. But y'all do me a solid on that. Leave us a review. Leave us a review on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And that really helps bump our numbers. And when guys go and search Firefighter Podcast, it'll put us to the top of the list. I need you guys to do that for me. Y'all enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the TAC channel. I'm your host, Heath Meredith. This is the Third Alarm Cowboys podcast. This is a podcast for firefighters. We talk about real life situations, stuff in your station like leadership and promotions, and stuff in your personal life like relationships and finances. You name it, we talk about it. Some things may be a little controversial, but that's real life, and that's what we're going to talk about on this show. Man, what's going on, guys? It's been a fast and furious week so far for us. I ended up getting in all the shirts that I had ordered, and we've been really trying to get caught up on getting all the packages out since we've been on the road so much for the last few weeks. So thank you for everybody for bearing with me. I've got all the ladies edition, no mustache, no problem shirts. I got all those in, and those will all be going out to you guys this week. I know a lot of y'all are really excited about wearing those, either your spouse or lady firefighters out there that, y'all don't rock the mustache, but y'all still get shit done like the rest of us. That's what that shirt's all about. And when I dropped that last month, a bunch of y'all went ahead and ordered those. So I've got all those in, and I'll be getting them out throughout the rest of this week, guys. But I just want to thank y'all for that. We have our Pick a Side shirt. That is the Pick a Side, don't ride the fence, Third Alarm Cowboy shirt. Basically, I did that after having the Balls and Strikes, Calling Balls and Strikes episode a few weeks ago. That was a really, really popular episode. It got like over 80,000 views on the reels and all that kind of stuff. And so, guys, we've been blowing up, man. I can't thank y'all enough for really the amount of growth we've had in the last month. I think our page alone on Facebook is sitting at, in the last probably 4 or 5 days, looking at like 1.2 million views. Several of the reels that I put out there, guys, it's blown up. And that's all thanks to y'all sharing. There's been a ton of shares, thousands of shares that have happened when I put out the reels from the last episode, talking about experience and the different things that guys in the fire service are dealing with. Your comments have been totally awesome. I've really been putting out, for those of you that have noticed, I've been putting out some pretty hard questions for you guys, mainly because I want you to be thinking and try to, really start talking about some realistic shit. And then it gives me some ideas for topics that are really popular for you guys that are of great concern in your own minds. And it's things that I can cover, give you my perspective, whether it's, fire service related or not. It's things that are pretty important, I think, to all of you. And it's really helping us grow. And I can't thank y'all enough for that. It's been really badass. So guys, pretty much, man, I'm not going to take a whole lot of y'all's time getting you caught up and everything. Last night we had senior night for my oldest daughter for her last home softball game in high school. So that was all, filled with waterworks and everything else that goes along with that. But guys, we just got tons of stuff going on. So I'm not going to bore y'all with all those details right now. We're going to go ahead and jump into the meat and potatoes of this show. I got 2 topics that I want to cover for this episode. First being, I did a post the other day, want to know what you guys thought about lateral transfers. And to be quite frank, man, the answers honestly were a lot of what I would expect. A lot of the answers were from different guys' perspectives and whatnot. And I agree with pretty much every answer that was put out there. Aside from maybe there was somebody put on there that was a new generation of poaching. And truthfully, man, that's been going on forever. But I will start this entire thing off, guys, by telling y'all straight up, the days of the fire service of going to one department and staying there for 30 years are pretty much gone. Unless you go to work at a really reputable city department that guys are going there simply because they love that patch and they want that city's name on their back, they're not staying for 30 years anymore. That's just the cold hard truth to it. It's the way that the world is. It's the way that the economy is. I've heard lots of people joke and cut up and stuff about, man, I'll leave for $1 an hour raise to go next door. And that's the truth. That's just simply the cold hard truth when it comes to today's society, where we are with this economy. Guys, I went and filled up my wife's little work car. And it's normally this little thing when it's on E, like totally on E, is $20 to fill up. This morning it was $37 to fill it up. That's where we're at in the economy. So, in saying all that, I want fire chiefs especially to understand going into this episode, I'm trying to give you some education and some real life touch to what's going on in the guys' lives, because let's face it, man, I'm going to be brutally fucking honest with y'all. Most of you fire chiefs out there are my parents' generation or older. So a lot of y'all out there are baby boomers. I talk a lot of shit on baby boomers. I won't deny that. I won't hide that. I've personally dealt with a lot of bullshit from baby boomers in my particular area of, running ranches and all this. The baby boomers own all the land and they want to charge you top dollar. And most of the time they fucking inherited it and they didn't even buy it. And that's just the cold hard truth. So I'm going to beat a lot of baby boomers up most of the time because I feel that they're fucking greedy. That's just the cold hard truth. So in saying that, I want guys to really listen to this episode and come into this with an open mind, especially if you're a chief and you're trying to figure out about lateral moves. You're trying to figure out, is it a good thing for my department? Is it a bad thing for my department? How should I implement lateral transfers? A lot of that stuff I think I'm going to cover on here, and I really hope it's an educational episode when it comes to that. Yes, I'm going to have my rants. Yes, I'm going to put my perspective on things. If that's something that you can't handle, that I'm sorry, but it's simply, this is the truth, the way the guys feel down here at the ground level of the shit that we're having to deal with. Real quick, guys, before I get going too much on this, I got to pay the bills, so y'all just bear with me on it. Guys, I got First Form right here. This Screaming Freedom Form Energy. It's one of my favorite flavors. I have it, and I have the Grape Smash. I keep those pretty much all the time. Those are the two flavors I like the most. I drank Screaming Freedom on the way taking the kids to school this morning. So I'm all about First Form. Great products, hands down the best supplements that you can get. They don't have any bullshit in them. The entire warehouse, factory, all that you want to talk is American company in St. Louis, Missouri. Andy Frisella was one of the founders of it. He's his brother Sal is now the actual CEO of First Form because Andy has moved into doing more things on the business side of doing different podcasts and stuff like that you've heard me you've heard me talk about before in the past. So guys, I'll be straight up with y'all. This is the deal. If you want any help with any supplements, whether it's protein, because if you're like me and you're on the road all the time, one of the hardest things for me to do is get my protein intake in every single day. Right now, I've been really dialed in on my diet, been working out like crazy. For those of you that see me posting my workouts on the story on the page on Facebook, man, I'm shooting for 300 grams of protein a day. That's really hard to do when you're on the road because you can't really eat chicken breast running down the road unless you're just wanting to be totally crazy. And I ain't there yet. So I supplement a lot, man. I drink either the formula clear protein that mixes great with water, and it just is basically more or less like flavored water. And you do 1 scoop of that, and it's 20 grams of protein. Do 2 scoops like I do, and that's 40 grams of protein in basically a flavored water. I supplement a lot with that. I take my my post-workout recovery shakes. That's 2 scoops. That's another 40 grams that I get right there. I can also drink the ready-to-drink form, which I've been doing that kind of before I go to bed because the vanilla and the chocolate flavors, they taste like a vanilla or chocolate milkshake. And when they're cold, they're really good. And that's 30 grams of protein. So I'm getting a lot of protein in just from supplementing that helps me get to my goal of 300 so that I can maintain my muscle mass and my strength while still trying to lose, that stubborn fat, especially on my fat ass belly that I deal with all the time. So guys, if that's something you want to do, if you want energy, if you, want some help with your workout, stuff like that, you can shoot me a message. I'll help you with your nutrition. I'll help you with your workouts. And we've got a ton of guys that have reached out and done that. A lot of you guys are taking the Primal T testosterone booster. As far as an oral booster, it's by far the best that I've ever taken. So tons of products for you to choose from. Just get with me and I can help you guide through whatever products are actually going to meet your goals. I don't want you to go buy a bunch of bullshit that you're not going to know how to use or that you really don't need to actually meet your goals. So get with me, shoot me a DM or something on Facebook or Instagram. I'll guide you through the process. For those of you that want to just go order, you want to go get your energy drinks, go to firstform.com/thirdalarmcowboys. That's the number one, STPHORM.com/thirdalarmcowboys. And that is how I sponsor this show. They've been with me from the very beginning. And really, it's gotten to the point where they're pretty much funding this show every month with all my subscriptions and equipment and things that I need. So it's been really awesome to be partnered with a great supplement company that takes care of me. And then I also use their products every single day to help keep my body where I want it to be in the direction I want to go for my physical performance. So other than that, guys, the other thing that I got for you, got our Third Alarm Cowboys cigars. These are the firefighter cigars. I have the Chief right here today. It's a dark Maduro. It's our bold flavored tobacco. I'm feeling a little bold today, and since I'm going to be talking primarily to a lot of Chiefs, I figured I'd break out the Chief cigar. Guys, these are Payne Mason cigars, which is the premier cigar company in the United States. Completely hand-rolled cigars, no machine packing, and absolutely no chemical drying. That harsh taste that you get after you smoke like a gas station cigar, and it's got that bitter aftertaste, and your breath smells like shit for 30, 45 minutes afterward. That comes from the chemical drying that's done in tobacco to make the leaves look darker than what they actually are. Payne Mason does not do that, just like they do not use machine packing, meaning from the inside and all the way up to the wrapper, it is 100% hand rolled by Cuban master rollers out of San Diego, California. Bob Payne was a military guy, retired out of there, loved cigars, started this company. It's a family-owned and operated company, and they're partnered with some of the best and biggest names out there, like Maserati, Porsche, MGM Grand Resorts, and then little old me with the Third Alarm Cowboys. I reached out to them. I really wanted to start a brand of firefighter cigars and told them what this podcast was all about, told them what I was all about. We went through a process of seeing, making sure that we both aligned with everything to be able to work together, and it's been absolutely great. Going to these conferences, man, you guys, you absolutely buy me out everywhere I go. Guys love these cigars, and most people, they'll go and buy one, and then they end up coming back and buying another before the conference is over, or some guys walk up and buy the whole damn box. So I've had both happen. Smoky Mountain last year, we sold out in an hour and a half of cigars. So these cigars are really popular, and that's all thanks to you guys. But if that's something that you're interested in, you want some cigars to smoke at the station or anything like that, guys, it's a great way to build camaraderie. That's what I'm all about. It's a brotherhood and a tradition that I came into the fire service. Our biggest tradition at my station that we've always kind of gone with is in the evening times we smoke cigars, and whatever rookie that we have on the crew doesn't get to smoke with us until he makes a fire with us, and that's kind of a special tradition to me. And so that's a tradition that you guys could start at your station if that's something that you're interested in. So go to painmason.com/thirdalarmcowboys. You'll see our logo is on the band. If that's something that you're interested in, man, I'd love to have you guys out there repping our cigars and letting people know what's up with the firefighter cigars. Other than that, guys, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. I'm going to talk about lateral transfers. I'll start this off by saying I'm a major fan. I have done lateral transfers. I think it's a good thing. Statistically, this is the deal. From 2008 until about 2014, 2015, the fire service was in a very low valley because we came off the hype from 9/11 where the country and the world saw what firefighters and first responders are actually capable of doing. Yes, it costs our brothers their lives, but after that, we went through a trend of holy shit, the fire department is actually, they do a lot more than just sit around and get paid to sleep. So cities dumped a lot of money into beefing up fire departments. We had the start of U.S. Fire Administration. We had, FEMA get kicked up and get more budgeting and all these different things. There was a huge influx of money and budget towards the fire departments from 2001 all the way up until the recession of 2008 when the economy crashed and everything like that. What ended up happening is tons and tons and tons of cities went bankrupt. A lot of hiring freezes. People weren't able to hire. People were retiring, but they weren't able to refill the ranks. And so we went through about roughly a 5 to 8 year slump in the fire service. And this is pretty much across the nation from what I'm seeing when I start talking about, generational gaps and stuff in the fire service as I travel and do my lecture. This is a big portion of my lecture I talk about is bridging generational gaps. And when I look at those guys, that should be my generation. I graduated high school in 2008, rolled right in, in May. August, I'm enrolled in Fire Academy, graduated Fire Academy in December 2008. Guys, of that entire class, I think we started with 29. I think we graduated 19 or 20, something like that. There's only like 3 or 4 of us that are firefighters. So that's pretty much the numbers across the entire nation. This generation of the guys that went to fire school between 2008 and 2014, there's not that many of us actually working. And the reason for that, cities are broke. That was really before the big explosion of ESDs or fire boards, commission funded county departments. Like I work for Emergency Services District in Texas. That was not really a thing. There was ESDs that were out there, but most of the time they just funded or contracted out to a volunteer department. Roughly around 2014 to 2018 time period in Texas is when a lot of these ESD departments, the ESD started taking over, doing away with the contract with the volunteer department, and they became their own local body government that was hiring full-time firefighters to come and work directly for them. So you became a county department, if you will, ran by a board of commissioners or fire board directors, whatever the hell you want to call it, but ran by a board. They hired the fire chief, worked directly for them, and then everyone worked underneath that tax body and that local government. That explosion happened. Well, you had a really big gap of generation in there in which there's just not any of us. I would say wholeheartedly, probably around about number of average, what I'm looking at statistically is it's probably about 15% of guys in today's fire service are actually have between the 10 and 20 year mark of experience, which is your senior guy. Don't care what rank it is. Once you've hit, let's just say the 15-year mark, that's where most of the time in years past, generations past, your 15-year guy is your solid, salty fireman. That's the person that's going to lead the crew. That's the person you can rely on to see big picture on the fire scene. If they made a lot of calls and that kind of stuff, that's going to be your guy that you're going to lean hard on. And the truth of the matter is there's just not very many of us. I'm going into my 18th year in the fire service, and I look around, man, and most of the closest guys to me are just now hitting their 10 years in. Then you have guys that are ahead of me. You got a big bump of guys. There's a 25-year in and up guys. There's a ton of those. You old heads out there, I tease y'all in my lecture. There's more guys that have been in 30 plus years than there is that 10 to 20 year guy. Statistically, that's what I see everywhere I travel and all the departments that I go to. The other big aspect is, I'll tell you all day long, the mass majority, I don't care if you're Houston Fire Department or you're some small podunk department, the big majority of what we have is guys that have 5 years and less in. So the 1 to 3 year guy is very, very, very high percentage. And the 3 to 5 year guy is probably number 2 as far as what we're looking at of a majority in today's fire service. I'll be wholeheartedly honest and tell you guys, the departments that I worked at coming up, you had to be in at least 4 years before they let you promote to driver. It was 4 years for that, usually another 2 to 4 years as a driver before you could promote to captain. My hometown department, this was the rules. You had to at least be a firefighter for 4 before you were eligible to test for driver. But in order to qualify to test for captain, you need to have a combined years of 8. So you could either do 6 and 2, 4 and 4, whatever that looked like, but you had to have 8 years in before you could test for captain. All of you see now what's going on at all these different departments. Dudes are in the fire department for 90 days and they expect them to have their Class B and their driver operator and already be ready to ride up and drive at most of your departments. Guys that have been 3 years are already in the officer seat. That is happening everywhere. Everywhere. And we shoot ourselves in the foot because then we want to, incidents happen, bad judgment calls happen on scene, responding, whatever. Incidents go wrong, there's major issues, and then they want to throw it in the captain's lap or throw it in the driver's lap and say, well, what the hell? Why didn't you know this? Well, shit, man. I've only been in fucking 3 years, and you already got me in the officer seat. I've been in 90 days, and you already got me driving a fire truck. The biggest thing I ever drove in my life before I got hired here was a damn F-150, and now you got me driving a 42-foot ladder truck. I don't know. Now, where I put it on you guys, firefighters out there, at some point or another, you got to reach down and grab your nuts and understand that the responsibility that you have when you start riding up in that fire truck or you start riding that seat is on you. The fire department's going to hang your ass out to dry. You need to go ahead and get that through your head. Most departments, you have some type of incident where somebody gets hurt. major damage happens to apparatus and fleet, the department's going to fucking cut you loose. They're going to CYA themselves. They're going to cut you loose. That's just a cold hard truth to it. I don't agree with it, but that's what they're going to do. So what you got to do is do not allow that department to pressure you into a position of responsibility where you're going to take the full brunt of that responsibility because they're not going to fucking back you up. Do not let them pressure you into that. If you are a 90-day firefighter, you have zero fucking business driving a fire truck. Zero business. 90 days in, unless you work at a place that's really busy, you've probably not even put a crosslay on the ground on a structure fire yet. Much less need to be pumping and have the responsibility of those guys' lives on that line inside a house for a house that you've never even been inside. All day long, this is the truth, man. This is the damn truth. Until you are able to know complete situational awareness when you're inside of a structure fire, meaning you know what the fuck to look for and see it big picture, and instead of being in that tunnel vision like this of got nozzle, force door, go to fire, spray, 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 because that's all you know, until you can step back and see big picture and understand why you're spraying here, understand what to look for, understand your smoke conditions, understand the building construction and the structure and the layout and all those different things, until you can see all of that big picture, you have no business being the guy that's out on the outside on the pump panel. Because guys, here's the reality to that driver position. I don't give a fuck how many certifications you have, college degrees you have, what fire chief is trying to push you into that. When you are that driver on the pump panel, your job is the most important on the fire ground. Because if you fuck up, what line of defense that those citizens that could potentially be in that house and your guys on that line, what line of defense they have, AKA water, to protect everyone is 100% your responsibility. And if you don't get it right, you kill everyone. Your damn driver operator class don't tell you that shit. Your fucking bachelor's degree in whatever doesn't tell you that shit. My stupid ass East Texas country self is the one telling you that shit. When you make a bad judgment call, you pull the wrong handle, some asshole runs over your water supply, and you lose water because you didn't have enough tank water and all the different catastrophic things that can happen on the fire ground, and your guys lose water, it is on you. The other aspect of that is, as a guy that's on the outside, it's also your responsibility. A lot of y'all run at short, limited staffing departments. I myself had the same issue. There's days that we might have one dude on the pump panel or one guy on the fire truck because the other firefighters are assigned to the ambulances. If they're on a call, guys, we're ghost pump status. Y'all heard me talk about that before. Chiefs cringe when they hear me, we'll never ghost pump. Yeah, motherfucker, we do. Because if it's your house and your kid's on there and I'm just standing outside just working my levers, spraying the deck gun, waiting on somebody to show up, and your kids die, you're going to feel like a teetotal jackass. So no, what my job is going to be, I'm going to put my gear on. I'm going to go in there if I know and I truly believe that there's people inside that house and I can put a knock on that fire. I'm stretching the line, putting that bitch on preset, and I'm going in. Cringe all you want to. Do you want your kids dead? I don't want my dead. I hope they ghost pump the motherfucker out of some shit outside if this house is on fire. I don't care how many people are standing at the pump panel. New trucks have all the computers and sensors in them that they need to keep that water flowing. And they will do what they need to do to keep that pressure where I want it set. And that's exactly what all the technology that is on the little digital readout pump panel that most of you old school guys can't even read. That's the purpose in that. So anyway, I digress. Until you are that driver and you understand everything that's going on in the inside, you also got to understand that your job on the outside is you are the scene safety. If you work at a place that is fortunate enough to have an EO position in which you get to designate a true guy to be on the outside pumping the truck for guys going inside and fighting the fire, that guy is also your scene safety. I don't need some super duper ISO to show up with his blue helmet on and his perfect little jacket walking around telling me how he's scene safety. I don't need that. I need an EO that can look and be like, damn, I'm starting to see some movement in that ceiling. I'm starting to see that wall kind of starting to bow in a little bit. I'm seeing not much change going on inside smoke conditions. I'm seeing my hose is not moving. Guys, This is the biggest clue of whether your guys are getting work done on the inside. If you're looking at that front door, that door that the guys made entry in, and you don't see that hose doing this for a long period of time, there's an issue. If you're looking, you're seeing that smoke conditions are not changing, you don't see that white smoke start coming, there's an issue. If you don't have experience on the fire ground because you're a 90-day firefighter that's never got to see these things or do these things, you do not understand that. So if it's your responsibility to be on the outside and you're looking, you're like, hey man, and you don't have a chief on scene or whatever, a lot of chiefs out there, they get on scene, they ask for a canned report, things like that. That's when the captain can relay back like, hey chief, we're trying to get to the scene of the fire, we can't find it. And I'm seeing smoke conditions get way, way worse. I'm seeing the structure starting to get a little bit compromised and they're telling me they're not to the scene of the fire. Okay, we got another issue. We either need to get a backup line in there, we need to change a tack, we need to do some shit. If you don't understand all that, you can't see all that and be able to understand that literally, guys, that is a visual thing. I don't need you to tell me that kind of stuff. You should be able to look at these particular deals. You start seeing, window colors changing, all these different conditions that happen on the fire ground where literally the fire is telling us what the fuck it's about to do. But if you don't know that, you have no business being in the driver's seat. Driver operator won't give you this. College degree will not fucking give you this. 100% experience and knowing your damn job is the only thing that will give you this. And the reality to that is there's not a whole lot of us out there that are in that group of experienced, salty, whatever you want to call it, guys of that 10 to 20 year firefighter that understand everything that I just put out there. A lot of you are nodding your head and saying, yeah. But do you really know that? Chiefs out there, how many of y'all really know the shit that I just said? Because I would argue there's a lot of chiefs that are in command positions, riding as a district chief, battalion chief, whatever. You may not even know the information I just said where you can look at a structure and truly understand what it is that I'm talking about. If you don't, that's fine. I'm not going to beat you up personally, but I will tell you, you better get your ass to some training somewhere outside your department because your department has failed you on giving you proper tools and adequate amount of training so you can recognize these hazards and recognize what's going on inside that structure. Go somewhere and go learn from a chief that can actually teach you how to really command. Do it now before one of your guys get hurt or killed or a citizen gets hurt or killed. If you're that driver that's sitting out there and you understand everything I just said, then awesome, guys. Awesome. Here's the deal. Lateral transfers. That's the kind of guy that departments are looking to hire. When it comes to lateral transfers, people are looking to hire that experienced person because their department is slap full of the 1 to 3 year guys, the 3 to 5 year guys. So they're looking to hire people that can come in with this level of situational awareness on the fire ground that I just described and can handle that stuff. Whether it's an apartment fire, whether it's a single story residential, whether it's a 2-story residential, whether it's a hotel fire, whether it's a fucking commercial fire, industrial fire, car fire, hazmat scene, rescue operation, extrication, all those different things, that's what they're looking to hire. And I'm sorry, guys, you don't get that shit out of a textbook or a .com online certification class. You don't get it. Fire chiefs, I feel really bad for you guys that have fell for that line of scheme that your governing bodies, whether it's the state, like my state, I'll say all day long, man, Texas Commission on Fire Protection is certification horny. Why? Because they can cash in $75 of certification renewal every year on every firefighter in the state of Texas. So they're looking at it as a cash cow, 100%. That's why we look up, when I graduated Fire Academy, there's like 4 certifications that were out there. And in your basic firefighter certification, most of the shit that I'm talking about was encompassed. You got your driver operator, that covered pumper, ladder, or pumper, aerial, and tanker. Now they've said, oh, hell, if we split all those 3 things up, make 3 different classes, that's $75 3 times. More money. That's what's happening to a lot of you states. But the reality to the deal is, fire chiefs are falling for that. I specifically heard very recently a fire administration 100% believe that a driver operator certification covered you for all these different types of things, whether it's responding to an incident, that book, that certification class taught you how to drive the fire truck to a scene, that it taught you how to pump and do all these different things and this, that, and the other. The administration truly believed that. And we're sitting over here like, it's a checkbox of pencil whipping bullshit. It does not teach you how to drive. You can get your driver operator certification in the state of Texas and never actually drive a fire truck. That's the truth. You take your little skills, you do your little skills, you do your online class and your test, you go take your state exam. Now you got to have your class to get your Class B driver's license through Department of Public Safety. You're supposed to drive to get that CDL endorsement with exemption and blah, blah, blah. But you can get your driver operator cert without having your Class B. So you've never been behind the wheel. There's too many different things of hoops that people are jumping through, thinking that they're covered on this or covered on that, and it's just simply not the truth. So when it comes to lateral transfers, we're looking to hire those experienced guys. I totally get that. I actually support that, because if you're a growing department that 5 years ago was 2 stations, now you're looking at 6, 7 stations, and like some of the departments around the greater Houston area, they're having, because of the growth of their communities, they have to build a station a year for the next 8 to 10 years. That's 3 shifts or potentially 4 shifts, because a lot of the departments around there are running a 4-shift model. 3 shifts or 4 shifts of, say it's just a pumper that's going to run out of that station. 3 to 4 man minimum staffing. That's 12 people for 1 station that you got to hire. And that's firefighters, drivers, and officers. So I understand the need for lateral moves. Makes perfect sense to me, because if you're having to build, I hire you on this year, I'm building a station next year. That means you have 1 year of experience in. I can't throw you in the officer seat. Truth be told, I probably can't throw you in the driver's seat with a year of experience in. I probably shouldn't. Maybe you can ride up from time to time, but to truly promote you in a year, now I took all that time that you should have been gaining all that knowledge about the fire ground by riding backwards as a firefighter for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years. I threw you in the driver's seat. Oh, just figure it the fuck out. Then you do that for a year. Now we build another station. Now I need you as a captain. So you've been here 3 years. Now you're a captain, and you just hopscotched through every position and really didn't get to gain the knowledge or understand the position before you were into the next one. How many of you departments out there are 100% guilty of that? A large majority. Places I've worked. That's what's going on. So where the lateral shit comes in is you take a guy, and I will talk about myself, guys, 100%, because I did the lateral. You take a guy, been in, I think when I did a lateral, I've been in 10 years. So take a guy, been in 10 years. I had been an officer for a year at that point, got offered a lateral transfer. They were starting up a department that was going full ESD. So they were getting rid of the volunteer contract. Everybody was getting hired in under the ESD specifically, and they had to completely staff. So the chief was like, hey, man, what do we do? We got to fill driver positions, captain positions, all this shit. So let's hire in some lateral guys. So I took a job wholeheartedly. I said all day long, the department I went there because they fucking burned. I took a massive pay cut to go over there, but they burned. And so for me, in my career, hadn't been the best decision now that I've been in 18 years, and I look at my freaking pension and I'm like, damn, I got to work a lot longer. But I wanted to be able to go to a place that made a lot of fires. So I made that choice. Went over there, walked in the door as a 1-year captain, walked in the door. Of course, you're thrown to the wolves, all this. I will say this as a caveat. The danger with lateral transfers, especially when you're going in as an officer or as a driver, is the fact you didn't come up in that particular system. It's a hard learning curve for the guys. Now, if you do have the experience, you do have the maturity, you have the professionalism, you'll do your due diligence on days off, just like I did when I go in as a captain. Man, I spent several days. When I accepted the job offer, after I did my interview and all that kind of mess, accept the job offer, I would go over there because it was on the other side of Houston from where I was working. So when I would get off from my current job to go home, I would drive through that district. And no, I didn't necessarily know exactly where I was going to be stationed because that department had a couple different stations. So I didn't know exactly where I was going to be stationed, but I went over there and kind of tried to get a lay of the land on my own time. So when I walked in the door and they'd be like, oh, hey, yeah, we got a fire over by Walmart. Well, fuck, I at least know where Walmart is. Okay. So you got to kind of do your due diligence because you're walking into a district that you've never worked in, especially if you're going as a lateral officer or a lateral driver. You're going over there you have the full responsibility. Like I went as a captain, guys. So I have the full responsibility of going in there. I got to be able to run that crew on day one in a district that I've never been in Talk about getting deployed to a combat zone. That's literally what it felt like. For one, radio systems were completely different than anything I had ever used. We had upgraded to MBTs, so I have a laptop, which I had never used before. I'm over here fucking punching buttons and trying to look at the map, look at Responder 360 and pre-instant plans that they had and all this kind of shit. You know, I'm used to flipping open an apartment book and looking through that or having a damn key map. A lot of you old guys will appreciate that. How many of y'all know what a fucking key map is? So I'm used to doing that. Now I have all this high-tech fancy shit en route, and I went from having a response time because my district and my old department was so big, it wasn't shit for me to have a 10 to 12-minute response time, to now I'm literally inside the city limits of Houston where my response times are 2 minutes. So, like, you're getting dressed, trying to figure it the fuck out, and you're on scene. Working fire. Made a working apartment fire my first fucking day. Ain't been on the truck 2 hours, and I make a working apartment fire as a first-in officer. Holy shit. That's all I can tell y'all. Holy shit. We got the fire out. We made a good knock on it, all that kind of shit, but holy shit. Okay? So that is the danger. I just kind of want to throw you guys out there. Like, if you are interested in doing lateral move, understand that's a responsibility that's going to land in your lap. And you can do it. 100% you can do it. I did it. I'm nothing special. You guys can do it, but you got to step up to the learning curve really fucking quick and figure it out. But that's also why the department is hiring you. They are hiring you because you can step up to the plate because you have that set experience. So they're willing to pay you to do that. They're willing to give you a position that you can do that. So fucking do it. Okay? Here's the thing too, guys. When we start talking about laterals, it's a great thing. Like I said, it is a great thing to be able to get guys in with experience. You young guys out there that it might potentially piss in your post toasties because, oh, this guy's coming in and taking my job. I wanted that job. Well, here's the reality, man. If the chief is doing lateral moves, hiring in lateral people, they're trying to do you a solid and telling you ain't fucking ready. Now, a lot of chiefs out there won't just blatantly come out there and say that, like, yeah, man, we're going outside for hiring for captains because we don't have anybody internally that I can truly trust to give the responsibility to ride in the seat. Now, you guys that are already there, you're going to be a little salty. You're going to be pissy. Well, I was going to test for that. I think I deserve to be a captain. I've been here for 3 years. I should be a fucking captain. No, you shouldn't. Hate me? That's fine. Your chief should have the balls to tell you, but you've been in 3 years. You are not ready to be a captain. Bottom line. The chief will be looking at a major lawsuit because of a fuck up of a decision that you make because you think that you're ready and you can do this and you can do that. And he's being mature and professional enough to say, we don't have anybody internally that's ready. So take that as okay, I need to work on my shit and I need to get better because that's how you should take it. Take that as a little bit of hey, enjoy this position. If we're hiring outside drivers, man, because we don't have any firefighters that are ready to step up and drive full time, enjoy it. Every guy out here that's been in more than 15 years will tell you the best job in the fire department is riding backwards. You literally get paid to fight fire, kick doors down, and mop floors, guys. Enjoy it. Stop trying to rush. It ain't for the money. It's not for the power. Most of you are trying to do it for that reason. You're wanting to promote quickly because of those reasons. But if that's the reasons, guys, that's not a good reason. Handle your finances and shit. Get with me. I'll try to talk you through some stuff. Never promote for the money. Wholeheartedly. Do not promote for the money. It will slap you in the face every time. You're not ready when you're not ready. That's just the truth. Okay? So, chiefs out there, I encourage you to have a little bit of balls and tell your guys professionally, like, hey, I'm not hiring guys from the outside because I don't like y'all. I'm hiring guys from the outside because y'all aren't ready. I want y'all to focus on becoming the best firefighters or the best drivers that you possibly can. And as we continue to grow, those opportunities will open up in the future. But I don't want to rush y'all's career. Because, guys, we're looking now because of the economics and everything of this country. What used to be a 20-year career is now probably a 30-year career. And I've never been the guy that was an advocate for that. I thought 20 years, 25 years max, and get the fuck out. But now you start looking at your numbers and stuff, even as many years like I've got in, your numbers ain't there. I know guys that have 20 years in and their pension is because they were paid so low for so long. 20 years in, their pension is going to be $1,500 to $1,800 a month. You can't retire on $1,800 a month. Even with Social Security, you can't do it. So those guys are going to continue to work. So guys, here's the deal. You're going to do a 30-year career in most places now in this day and age to get a decent pension, if you have pensions. You're trying to rush a 30-year career and skip firefighter and be done with it in 3 years. So you're going to spend the next 27 years in the same position? You're going to be fucking miserable. Take your time. 30-year career, 10, 10, and 10 is fine. Your pension will be great. That last 10 years in the officer seat will bump your numbers. You'll be awesome. You'll still get to have fun. You'll be young enough that you'll still get to do the job. Stop trying to get a 30-year career in your first 3 years. Your time will come. And that's what chiefs should be telling y'all. Your time will come. Slow the fuck down. Get to where you can see big picture on the fire ground before you're trying to get more. Okay? Big thing. Big thing. Chiefs out there that are wanting to do these lateral moves and hire guys in. I've had this conversation countless fucking times. Countless times. Even some of my best friends have dealt with laterals and they try to figure this out and try to figure that out. If you put it out that you are hiring laterals, make the pay completely transparent. This bullshit corporate America stuff that we've had come in the fire service where it's, at chief's discretion for lateral pay, and you come in the door and, yeah, we'll pay you lateral, but only if you beg for it. You need to, negotiate. No, that's not how we operate in the civil service world. That is not how we operate in the fire service. What the pay is what the pay is. If y'all want to start negotiating shit for salaries, we'll do it. That's fine. But you motherfuckers going to be start paying. Because guys like myself have always been brought up in a system, man, like, hey, this is what firefighters get paid. This is what driver operators get paid. This is what captains get paid. And you have longevity pay, or you get step pay, phase pay, whatever the hell your department calls it. But what you earn is what you earn. Now we have a lot of systems out there that are doing these laterals, and they'll say, yeah, lateral pay, blah, 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 blah. But only, you won't get it unless you go in there, and the chiefs know they're looking at your fucking resume. When you turn in your application, looking at your resume, looking at your certifications, like I will tell y'all in the state of Texas, whenever you hit different education and time criterias, you're able to upgrade your fire certification. So after you've been in for 4 years and you have a certain number of certifications, you can become an intermediate firefighter in the state of Texas. After you've been in 8 years and you have a certain number of more certifications on top of that, you're qualified to be an advanced firefighter. Then once you've been in 12 years and you have a bunch of certifications and a certain amount of college hours, now you can be considered a master firefighter. If I turn in my application, because this is what I have, because I don't have the criteria for the college. I'm eligible years and certifications for my master, but because I don't have 60 hours of college, I've got 47. I'm not eligible to be a master firefighter in the state of Texas. So I have my advanced firefighter. If I turn in my certifications to you, said department, with my resume, and you see that I have advanced firefighter, then you automatically know I have a baseline of at least 8 hours, or 8 years, because that is the state requirement. So if you're doing lateral shit and you scroll over here and look, and your pay for lateral, whatever, says, 8 years of service pays this, well, then I know I at least start there. Now we could say, like, hey, and you come to me, you should come, you're offering me the job, you want to be transparent, and you want to have integrity, and you're trying to show that as a fire department, you genuinely mean well for your guys. You should come to me and say, hey man, I noticed that you had your advanced firefighter. We're getting ready to offer you a job. How many years do you actually have in? Do you have 8 or do you have more and you just don't have college? Because we all know that's the rule. Well, I can tell you, well, man, I've got fucking 17 something years in. Okay, well, shit. Well, we can't pay you for 17 years, but our cap out pay, our phase pay goes all the way up to 12 years. So we'll bring you in at the 12-year rate. How does that sound? Oh, well, man, that sounds good. Yeah, done. That's how lateral should be approached on the pay shit. Or better yet, you all are going to pick up our state certifications because you got to carry our certifications. So when you go on there and look and you pick it up, look at our damn FIDO and see years of service. Oh shit, he's got this many years in. Okay, well, when we send him the job offer email or whatever it looks, we'll just go ahead and offer him this and tell him we're bringing you in at the top pay rate for whatever rank it is that I'm coming to. This bullshit that we've done of wanting to negotiate, well, we're going to offer them low dollars and see if they catch it. Why should I have to come and bet? You're offering me the job because you want me to come to work for you. You need the experience. We've all been brought up in the, except for fire chiefs, because y'all get to negotiate your shit. And I think that's where a lot of this has come from, because chiefs are so used to negotiating their own pay with their contracts with the city or the board or the whatever. They just think, well, that's how it's always done. No, guys, think back to when you were a firefighter. You got hired in and the pay was what the pay was. You had a pay scale for operations, and that's what it was. When you reached 5 years of time in, this is what it paid. 10 years, this is what it paid. Whatever that looks like, this is what it paid. Now you kind of got guys wanting to come and beg or grovel. Well, can I get more money, please? No, that's not how we should be doing this, guys. Chiefs out there, administrations out there, that is not how you should be doing this. Come to these guys. You want their experience. You need their experience. You know that you need their experience. Offer them top dollar in your own pay scale. Your budget's already built for it. Offer them top dollar so they don't have to feel like they're having to Jew with you to come work for you. Because I'll be honest with you, if you want me to come to work for you, I've already gone through your process. I know that you're in a bind for experience, but I then have to beg you or try to negotiate with you. Well, I really kind of need more money. Then I don't really honestly want to work for you. That's just the truth. Because if you don't value the experience that you say that you need, want, desire enough to offer the pay that's already on the books for it, then truthfully, I think you're full of shit. That's just how I feel. And so how can you be in a position where you need something as a department, but you're not willing to say it? You're not willing to pay for it. And this is the reality. I say all day long, I'm not big on promoting for money. I'm not doing this. I'm not, I will never believe in guys promoting for money. However, I will say, with the economy the way that it is, guys are leaving departments for the money. Oh, you're going to pay me $3,000 more a year? Fuck it. I'm out. It's that simple. I've seen me do it. So, yes, you can, say that you value your guys and all that, but man, and this is where I hope a lot of you chiefs are still listening to me. You haven't tuned me out. This is where I want you guys to understand and kind of get a grip on the reality of the situation for today's economy. Most of you fire chiefs out there, like I've said, are older guys. You've probably been in your home for a long time. If not, it's already paid for, getting close to it. Most of the chiefs that I've worked for throughout my career have lived in the same home 20, 30 years. That house is paid for or almost paid for. You've been in a high-paying position. In Texas, most fire chief positions are way over 100,000 at this point. In my particular area, 150,000 is a cheap chief. So, guys, you've been making a lot of money for a long time while your firefighters have been making a lot lower. Firefighter pay has been, and I can't speak for all states. I know some states have it way worse than what we do in Texas. However, when the cost of living has raised like it is, I hate talking about this subject because it really pisses me off, but here's the reality. My parents bought the home I came home from the hospital in 1990. $50,000, that 3-bedroom brick home in Nacogdoches, Texas. That same house last year sold on Zillow for $315,000. Same house, same paint job. They haven't even updated the paint on that home since I lived in it in 1990. That's how much housing has increased. It's not guys, building mansions and living in super barn-dominiums or lake houses like a lot of you do. It's the fact that the housing market is insanity because you have major hedge funds and corporations that have gone and bought all these single-family dwellings, trying to turn them into rental properties. The American working class people, which is what firefighters are 100% being attacked by global economics of people trying to turn this country into a renter-only country. All you got to do is read a little bit, and you'll see that. My area, St. Augustine, Texas, small town, nothing. During COVID, BlackRock put out a map of district around, and I'm telling y'all, my entire county has 2,000 people in it. BlackRock put an entire map of the entire, what you would consider the ETJ of St. Augustine, city of St. Augustine, which is a little bitty dot on a map, buying up every property in this entire area for top dollar so that they could buy up all the old family farms. That is the story for every small town across this country. They're one of the richest organizations in the entire human existence. And they're buying up everything, slabbing it, putting rental properties down, multifamily homes, whether it's apartments, whether it's duplexes or, cookie cutter style homes, buying them up, running the damn market up so that you can't afford to buy them as a working blue collar family, and then renting it back to you for $2,500 a month when your mortgage would be $1,500 a month or less up here. But they rent it to you for that so you can never get ahead. People that have not bought a home, like my grandparents that have not bought a home in 20-something years, do not understand that. I would argue a lot of you fire chiefs out there have not bought a home in 15 or 20 years. So you do not understand what I'm trying to tell you. That is the market. So when you try to get frustrated at your guys because they're literally leaving because they get paid $6,000 more a year over there, that's covering their house note. Pay them more. If you can afford it, pay them more. Get out of the way of, well, when I was a firefighter, I got paid $50,000 a year. You can't live on that. You're living beyond your means. That's easy saying from a guy that's been in a cheap position making 150 plus with a take-home car and a fuel card and an expense account. 9 out of 10 fire chiefs that I know in the state of Texas don't even own a personal fucking vehicle and have not the entire time they've been a chief. I myself will say all day long, and this is where you chiefs are going to tune me out. I want flight cars as take-home cars fucking outlawed in the state of Texas. I will say that. And if the day ever comes I'm a chief, I'm going to leave the sumbitch at the station when I come home. That vehicle should be available to respond to calls. It should not be your grocery getter. It should not be your haul your kid around to everything. And it should damn sure not be a way for you to escape the expense of having to understand what vehicle notes cost today, what vehicle insurance costs today, and what fuel costs today. Because in turn, you have the audacity to get mad at your firefighters for considering leaving your department for a $6,000 raise. That is why. They're not living beyond their means. You just don't have to pay the same bills that they do. If you had a $1,000 a month fuel bill like I do, if you paid $690 a month, and I don't have new vehicles, my shit's old, but $690 a month for auto insurance on top of a $1,000 a month truck note for an older vehicle, like I said, it's a 2019. That's fucking 7 years old. I'm not rolling in a Ferrari. Most firefighters are not rolling in Ferraris. But you have the audacity to say, well, you're living beyond your means. No, shit costs too much. And until you have that reality of buying stuff in today's economy, like a vehicle that I've preached this a million times, but I need to bring it up because we're talking about laterals and the importance of money. A truck that cost $15,000 brand new 15 years ago is now $65,000. Guys are not buying a fancy truck. Guys are buying a note. A new vehicle is easier to finance with a lower note than an older vehicle is. Or an even older vehicle where you have to pay for it in cash. When people are paying really high rent, really high car insurance, really high cell phone bills, and all this shit that we're required to have, and you baby boomers out there, I see these posts all the time. Well, back in my day, we didn't have $8 Starbucks and a $300 cell phone bill. That's how we could afford a house at $47 a month savings. Every fire department out there, guys are having to use their cell phones to work there. Every fire department. Truth be told, you departments should be given a stipend, a cell phone stipend, because guys are doing their truck checks on their cell phones. Guys are doing their navigating and or, their dispatch and all that kind of shit through Active 911, Responder 360, or the million other brands that are out there, PS Tracks and all this different shit, scheduling, all that is being done on the cell phone. So for you old people out there to say, well, you don't need a cell phone. Yes, you fucking do. In today's society, 2016, in order to have a job in this world, you have to have a cell phone. The jitterbug won't work. The rotary dial phone on your wall will not work to have a job in today's society. You have to have a cell phone. And it's completely unavoidable to have a high-ass cell phone bill. So instead of looking at it as guys are living beyond their means, start looking at it as These are all the tools we have to even have to get to work. There is no more Dave Ramsey $1,500 cash car that you go buy. I look all the time because I try to, find little car, throwdown cars that I could drive back and forth to Houston. A reliable car that I can get in at 2 o'clock in the morning to drive to Houston is at least $9,000. If not, it's going to be a piece of shit and I'm going to be broke down. And now I don't have a reliable mode of transportation to get to your department. So what that means is all the economic bullshit that your generation, older folks, my parents included, were taught, the Dave Ramsey, pay cash for this, it doesn't fucking work when everything costs way too much. So the only alternative that my generation and younger have is make more money. Everything costs more, you got to make more. That's just the simple truth. That's where the laterals come into play. If you're going to pay more, guys are going to come work for you. You're going to get their experience. So I would suggest if you're trying to retain your people because you have people leaving, you're going to have to come off the money. If you're one of these departments that's wanting to bring in laterals because you want that experience, you're going to have to be upfront with the money. If you want these people to come to work for you, don't make them Jew for it. Don't make them freaking negotiate this and negotiate that. No, damn it. They got 18 years in the fire service. You know that they have this reputation of operations. They can handle their shit. Pay them. You already got it in your line item. Here's what it is. This is what an 18-year firefighter is going to get paid, whatever. Pay it. Up front, do it. That's my entire take when it comes to on lateral transfers. There's a lot more I go into, but I like to keep these episodes within an hour. So I hope you guys learned something from this. I really hope that guys start listening to understand, especially you fire chiefs out there that are considering this and administrations. Why are you doing lateral transfers? Why are they important? How do they bring value to your department? All those things. I hope I painted a decent picture for that. That's what it's all about, is you are getting that experience. And in turn of getting that experience, pay the people for their experience. Corporate America, we have it, completely attacking the fire service right now. In corporate America, I walk in the door, I can name my price. If that place wants me, that corporation wants me, I can name my price. And the fire service is trying to ride the fence, which y'all know I hate riding the fence. They're trying to ride the fence. Oh, this is public service. You're not supposed to get paid top dollar. You're supposed to do this out of the kindness and love of your heart and how you're serving the community. You want to ride that side of the fence when it comes to the payroll. But then when it comes to your contract and all your shit, you want to push the corporate agenda because I got master's degrees in this and I got all this experience and I could be, your CEO and do your books and blah, 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 all this shit. So you want to push that agenda on this side. Stop riding the fence. Pick a side. What are we going to do? If we're going to negotiate prices and payrolls, then we're doing it across the board. If we're going to do this out of a servant mindset, then we're going to do it across the board. The pay is what the pay is. Experience is what experience is. Pick a side. You can't ride the fence on it because you can't have both. Guys, you want some cigars? Hit us up. Go to thirdalarmcowboys.com. Get your shirt orders in. We're going to be on the road big time this next month. I've got Coastal Magnolia Fools out in South Mississippi. We're going to be there first of the month. Smoky Mountain. We're coming back to y'all in Gatlinburg, Tennessee at the end of May. Fired up and ready for it. I have, I believe, 2 weekends left in the fall. And both of those, I've been going back and forth with the people trying to nail down exactly what dates. But I got 2 weekends left in the fall to have our real pump to nozzle engine ops course that will travel anywhere, specifically Texas departments. You guys, this is now a grant-funded class. We got it approved this year, beginning of 2026. It's grant eligible through TIFMAS and through House Bill 2604. So we can bring you our full engine class. And really, guys, we'll come anywhere for it. For you out-of-state departments, with this becoming a state validated, our syllabus, our curriculum, all that shit, the state liked it, they approved it, and now it's grant funded. I know that doesn't help you outside of Texas, but what it does help is when you take it to your chief, you could say, hey, this class is state validated in the state of Texas. So that does help you on the credibility side. We're not just some, fly-by-night wild cowboy class that's coming out there. We know our shit. We handle our shit. And I have a great group of cadre. So if that's something you're interested in bringing us out and really teaching you guys some real life, realistic pump ops, realistic fire attack. We cover everything from the pump to the nozzle, through the forced door, all the way to the sea of the fire, grabbing your victims and getting them out and handling maydays. We literally handle everything that goes on a fire ground in our class. We, just have a special niche of being able to do that, especially when it comes to water supply, due to the area that we work in Houston, being incorporated county and not having hydrants. We do everything usually with tanker shuttles and or relay pumping, those type of operations. So it's giving us a really special niche where we can handle a lot of rural stuff, but doing it with big city call volume. And that's pretty much what's given us a great platform of being able to travel and teach you guys. So with that being said, go to thirdalarmcowboys.com. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Absolutely start sharing these shows, guys. Please share these shows and go subscribe on YouTube. I need to get the subscribers up on YouTube so we can start having more views to match on YouTube for what we're doing on audio. Y'all be sure and go do that for me, and we'll see you on the next one.